Hello and welcome to week 1 on empathy. So, this is episode 1 of 3 of a 3-part vlog mini series that I'm doing to promote paid content that will be way more in depth in the future, but this is just kind of like a little teaser for you guys. Episode 1, the topic is you can always be kind. This is something that my mom taught me. Long time ago. I can't even remember when or why, but basically, like, empathy is a choice. Compassion is a choice. Kindness is a choice. Showing somebody a positive emotion in a negative situation is phenomenal, and not that many people can do it. But if you can harness that power, it can be like your superpower. I swear to God. What does empathy mean to you? So, this is really important to me, especially as I get to know you guys. If you reach out and start a conversation with me, I really want to know, what does this stuff mean to you? Does it mean nothing? Do you have like a slight grasp on it? Is it something that you are interested in learning more about? I really want to know how you personally feel about the stuff that I'm teaching, not just like a general consensus of like, oh, I understand what you're saying. I really want to hear your side of it and how this stuff speaks to you, or, if it's boring as hell, please tell me, because I really want to know. So I wrote out some questions for you. You definitely don't have to answer these right now, but I was going to do a PDF. I just think that it's a little redundant at this point. So take all the time you need answering these. You might take a couple days to like think about it and then come back to it, but maybe start a journal and just kind of annotate some of the things that you like about my content, and take note of that, because you will come back to those thought processes later on in my program. First one is, what does empathy mean to you personally? Can you see empathy being a useful sense to master in life? If so, why? How do kindness and empathy complement each other? It's a pretty in-depth question, but I have a pretty good answer for it if you guys are interested. How can you implement empathy into your life? It's another pretty loaded question, but there are tons of ways. What are some ways that we can use how we grow to teach others? This is what I'm trying to do right now. I wasn't always in this constant state of like forward positive motion. I used to get really hung up on things, and anytime life didn't go exactly the way that I had planned it, I kind of freaked out and I would shut down for a few days. I mean, it's really hard to train your brain to get out of that comfort zone of all these patterns that you've learned from various life experiences or traumas. It's like training any other muscle in your body. You don't get a six-pack overnight. You have to put in hard work to do that, and it's like very isolated, specific set of muscles that you're working out. I feel like empathy and kindness can be the same way. So I'm going to give you guys a little insight on what empathy means to me. Like I said earlier, I believe that kindness is a choice, and my mom always says you can always be kind, no matter what situation you're in, no matter how much that person is pissing you off, no matter the past, present, or future that you have or will experience with this person. Like, you can shut all that off just for 5 seconds and take a breath. Too often we neglect the power of a simple, deep, diaphragmatic breath, that you actually like sink into your diaphragm and let all that air fill your body and fill your muscles and push oxygen to all the places that have been neglected. I think that when you're holding tension, it's really easy to ignore it instead of trying to help it. So just remember that, when you're feeling angry or you're feeling tense or that person pissed you off in traffic and you want to race around them, just take 5 seconds to just breathe and do it again if you can. I know it's hard when you're angry. Sometimes you're like, no, I don't want to take a breath. I get it. Emotions are intense, and our egos make us feel very justified in our emotional reactions. But unfortunately, usually an emotional reaction like that can be detrimental, i.e., if you're in traffic and you fly around someone out of anger, you're way more likely to get into an accident than if you were to go around that person when you're not angry. So basically what I'm trying to encompass here is that you are the captain when it comes to your mind, body, and soul. And you do contain the power inside of you to connect those ideals peacefully. Because they're very, very different, but they all serve specific purposes. And they all tie together because of that. Like I said, you have to train your brain to think in a different way to understand empathy and be able to use it and not have it cripple you. So empathy is my superpower. I have so much love, honestly, usually too much love to the wrong people, but I'm learning. I have so much love that I want to give the world, and I want other people to be able to experience, and I give it out selflessly. It's not even a second thought for me because I actually get enjoyment out of bringing happiness to other people or bringing, pain relief to people, especially people that I care about. I've been told that I'm sunshine in human form and that I light up a room just by entering it, and I wasn't always like that. I was a very negative, bitter person for a very long time because of my trauma, and it took me a really long time to essentially pull my head out of my ass and realize that I was the fucking problem now. So even when life is kicking me repeatedly, like, I do get sad and I do get angry and I do get frustrated and I do get depressed or anxious or whatever you want to call it. But the trick is I don't let myself get stuck like that anymore. I feel those emotions, I honor them for what they are, and then I let that shit go. And it's literally that easy. Like, you can just let it go. You don't even have to fucking think about it. And if you do, you don't have to think about it in a negative way. You could find that silver lining, like, for example, your waitress or your waiter gives you the wrong order. So many times I've seen people flip the fuck out over that, when honestly, if they could just approach it in a kind, compassionate way and try to understand maybe why it happened and not just assume that it was negligence on the waiter's part, you never know. That person could have just found out that their mom died, or they aren't going to get that loan that they've been looking forward to open up their business. Life likes to throw us all these little curveballs, and you and only you control how you react to those curveballs. Another good example is, say you're really, really into this person romantically, and like, you have nothing but good intentions. They don't know that. So it might not be as easy for them to open up as it is for you. So while that's really frustrating and hurts you in a way that nothing else can, you can look at it like a silver lining. Like, I did not hurt that person in this way. Somebody else did in their past. And it's not their fault that the trauma is crippling them and making it hard for them to see any other reality than the one that gets triggered by their past experiences. Because all those emotions are basically trapped in their brain, and it's not their fault that they don't know how to process them properly, because honestly it takes like actual like therapy and stuff that we don't really understand on the level that a therapist or a psychiatrist would. It's not bad to reach out for help, but some people just aren't there yet. So if someone isn't on your wavelength, it's not that you or them are doing anything wrong. It's just that your paths are not meant to meld in the way that you thought they were, or maybe not in the time frame that you wanted it to happen. Like, so often we make time our enemy as humans, and it's really good to remind yourself that there's another day tomorrow, and sometimes things come into our life. Actually, they always come into our life right when we need them. I believe wholeheartedly that everything happens for a reason, even the shitty stuff, because it teaches us something. And usually when it's something super painful, it's a lesson that you're never going to learn personally unless you go through an experience like that. So being an empath, I can hear somebody's traumatic experience and not only like sympathize for them, but like I'll literally feel the emotions of what they went through during that experience. And sometimes I even absorb that energy and I'll just start crying. Like I'll feel the emotion that deeply that I let it out, and people see that and they see how vulnerable I am and how I wear my soul on my sleeve, and they appreciate it because they're not used to people being like that. But I wholeheartedly believe that if you are not happy with the way the world is, it means that you're meant to change it. So the more I can spread this and see the positive cause and effect, the more I'm going to want to do it. Same with other people. If they notice like my words or my experiences or my way of processing trauma, give them strength and give them hope and give them the ability to fight through their own pain. That's so beautiful, and I can't ask for more, because I've literally helped people get away from abusive relationships just from being strong enough to share my story. And that's not an easy thing to do, or at least it wasn't 3 or 4 years ago. It's a lot easier on me now. I actually get enjoyment out of being able to show people like, hey, I went through this and I'm 10 times stronger because of it. I did not let it defeat me. It did not ruin my life. In fact, it made everything in my life better and brought nothing but good things to me. As soon as I showed the universe that I can strive through the pain and I can be happy and find joy in other things in life and inspire other people to do the same thing. So how I use empathy daily is pretty cool. I'm a dog groomer professionally, and I've been doing that for about 6 years now. Love it. I'm really, really good at it. But one of the reasons why I'm so good at it is being an empath and being able to exchange energy, not just with humans, but with little doggos too. And it's really cool to watch, because it's gotten to the point where if a dog is stressed out on my table, I can just touch it and just feel the energy shift, because dogs don't respond to yes or no. They do not understand things like humans think they understand them. They're very black and white. And they feel the energy behind your words. They don't understand the words themselves. So like I could say, "You're an awful dog," and the dog will be like, yeah, I'm great. But if you're like, no, and you have that like stirred voice with them, it doesn't even matter what you're saying. They understand the energy side of it. So I'm really, really good at my job, because usually you won't even hear me talking to my dogs, because I just exchange energy with them. And it's not always like negative, it's not always dogs stressed out. I have a lot of request dogs that only come in to see me that like pull the leash out of their owner's hand when they see me, and it's not like a easy process for dogs. They're working while they're getting groomed. It's not a spa day like everyone thinks it is. It's hard on them in a way, because they're out of their element and they're scared and they don't know if their owner's going to leave them there for the rest of their life. So sometimes they freak out, and I have to take the responsibility with my profession to find the patience and the compassion to understand them on the level that they need very quickly, like right away. At check-in, I have to be on top of how that dog's energy is, or I could get bit. So it's something that I've been lucky enough to perfect through my profession and through my life experiences. But I love that I can sense when a loved one is stressed or upset and be able to, go over and help them in those moments when they don't want to ask for help, but they would welcome it, if that makes sense. Like, I'll never ask for help. I'll suffer in silence until I'm like having a panic attack, and that's my fault. But I'm learning to overcome that because it's important to ask for help, and there's no shame in it at all. I learn from negativity even when it hurts me because I have the ability to see both ends of the perspective. So, I'm heartbroken, I'm pissed off, and I'm angry, and I'm like, ugh, this is so dumb. Like, why did I fucking do this? But on that same end, like, okay, what did you learn from this experience? What can you take away from the pain that you felt? And how long is it really necessary to hold on to that pain? And then on the other side of it, it's like, I got to experience some really cool moments that were so intense emotionally for me that I felt elated, I felt joy, and I felt beautiful, and I felt appreciated, for more than just my looks. And even if it's short-lived or it doesn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to, at least I got to experience those moments, because some people don't ever get to experience that in their lifetime, and that's really sad. So appreciate, be grateful for what the universe gives you, because you're learning something from it, regardless of what it is, regardless of when you learn something from it. Empaths are not just sympathetic, they are emotional sponges, essentially. So, like, I've felt things from people that I'm close to from across the globe. Before I even knew how to identify it, I got this feeling of like dread or excitement, and then lo and behold, later on I find out that there's a reason why I was feeling that way. And it's just crazy to think about all the untapped ability that you have just with your energy fields as a human. Like, it's not all about empathy, but a lot of it ties back into that. So, like, don't underestimate yourself, because you hold so much untapped ability that you don't even know about or like register, that you'd be surprised with yourself when you put your mind to something. But it's estimated that about only 15 to 20% of all people in the world are believed to be empaths. And that's because we're pretty rare. Empaths carry like this magnetic energy that instantly attracts people. And it's because people really feel validated by empaths, and they feel heard and understood, because it's not like I'm just hearing your words, like I'm feeling them, and I'm feeling your energy, and I'm having this like mutual exchange with you. And even if you're not aware of it, your body and your soul is, and it feels that, and it picks up on that, and it reacts to it. So like, when you share joy with people instead of just by yourself, there's a reason why it feels more intense when you're around other people. It's because you're picking up on their energy on top of yours. So I get super anxious in large crowds. I have crippling social anxiety because of being an empath. And that's just something that I have to conquer every day. And shit, I still go to music festivals. I still am outstanding with customer service. I mean, I don't wear my anxiety. I feel it, but I don't let it defeat me. I don't let it conquer me. Fuck you, anxiety. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to live life the way that I want to, regardless of your presence, because it's there for a reason. And it's my sixth sense. It's my ability to feel things before I fully understand them. And feel people's emotions so that I can understand them better as human beings and grow closer to them because of that. But most of this stuff is subconscious, especially for an untrained empath who doesn't really understand their abilities. It's a subconscious but undeniably condition-free love. That's why it can be so draining. I'll let somebody talk my ear off for 45 minutes and not even realize that I want to go home, and I would rather be sitting in bed with my cat. People don't really think about that, but that's why it can be draining on you. I rub off on people too. I wholeheartedly believe that empathy and compassion and kindness and love is infectious because I've seen it happen. I walk into a room and everybody's in a piss poor mood, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be happy anyway. I'm going to have a great day regardless of the fact that you guys are not. And usually people can't help but smile and laugh with me, and it feels so good to have that effect. People hear my laugh and they just crack up because it's so organic and unfiltered, and I let myself snort, and I let myself make all these weird noises, but it's pure joy and pure happiness, and it's unfiltered, and people really love that because it's a rarity. Not a lot of people show that side of themselves, so just spread compassion because it will rub off on other people, and in turn make you feel really proud of yourself for stepping out of that kind of comfort zone. Stay tuned for part 2. I will be posting it later this week, and then part 3 probably towards the end of the week. If you guys have any questions or just want to strike up a conversation about anything and everything, especially this week's content, you can shoot me a text. I'll usually respond faster to that than a phone call, but I will call you back. That's a fear that I want to conquer this year. Or shoot me an email. I would love to have more subscribers to my weekly newsletter, but I know it's going to take some time. Just know that there's going to be some really cool content in there, so you're not going to want to miss it. Thanks, and have a wonderful day today. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day today. Bye.